Today we're going to be taking a look at and showing you how to install the DeeZee side mount customizable truck bed ladder rack with tie downs. Part number DeeZee 95053. This customizable half ladder rack, as you can see, is very compact. Doesn't take up very much room in the back of your vehicle, so you can have plenty of space in the back of your truck for any other equipment you may want to haul. It's going to be constructed of 1/8" steel, has a black powder coat finish to resist rust, 200-pound weight capacity, and can be mounted on your driver or passenger side of your vehicle. It's going to come with 2 hook and loop straps to secure your load to your rack. It's also going to come with a ladder stop, which is going to prevent your ladder from sliding up over top your cab. We'll just undo our straps. Once you have your load off, you can either remove your straps or simply leave them on. Now with our extension fully in, it's going to give us about 19 inches of usable space. However, we can extend that, and that's going to give us about 28.5 inches of usable space. Now, with this being a 28 inches of usable space, this is going to leave about half of this extension inside the tube. By leaving half of the extension inside the tube, it's going to help maintain this stability. Now, to remove your uprights, due to the tight fit inside of the tube, you're just going to simply take a rubber mallet and tap on the bottom of the post here so they come loose. Nice thing about these is they're nice and compact. They can be stored away, hang them in your garage, or store them in the back of your truck. Now we'll show you how to get this installed. Keep in mind, we're going to be doing this on a 2013 F-150. This is a universal kit, so it will work on multiple different beds, different trucks. You just may have to adjust where your mounting holes are going to be. First thing we're going to do is, you can see this has a cover on it. We're going to have to cut that part of the cover out so that when we mount this hole here, we're flush up against the rail. So the first thing I'm going to do is, I've got this tight on my rail so I know how high I need to go. I'm just going to take a paint marker and mark what I need to cut out. So now I'm going to take a rotary tool with a cutting blade on it. I'm going to cut this out here. Once we have that cut out, I'm going to go ahead and check to see if we need to make any adjustments. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to mark our holes where we're going to be drilling. Next, we're going to take a hole punch. We're just going to tap the center of our mark here. It's going to give us mark for a drill. We're going to use a 1/2" drill bit per the instructions. We're going to take a rivet and our included tool, which is going to be the long black bolt, our spacer. One thing I am going to recommend is, they say to put a drop of oil on it. I'm going to use Loctite anti-seize. This bolt, when doing each one of these, will get hot, and you don't want it to break. So I'm going to put anti-seize on it to make sure that my bolt doesn't break or get stuck. I'm going to put my spacer, make sure these teeth are facing out. And if you look on the head of the rivet, it's got teeth on it. Those teeth are going to fit when you bolt this on. They're going to fit inside of the teeth on the spacer. Go ahead and put it into place. You want to take a wrench, hold this in place while you turn the bolt. You don't want this to turn or your rivet to turn. You want that to stay still. I'm going to be using a 1/2" socket. on my bolt. Now what you don't want is you don't want your rivet to be moving around. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to get it tight to where I can move this and my rivet doesn't spin in there. Then we're going to repeat the same process for our remaining holes. Now a little tip to help kind of keep this from rusting, because you just drilled a hole into it and now it's going to be bare metal, is you can use clear coat spray paint or same color spray paint if you have it as your vehicle. I have a black paint marker, so I'm going to use that, and then I'll probably put a little bit of clear coat over it just to help it. So just a tip on your holes that you drill, you may want to do that to keep them from rusting up. So now that we have our rivets in place for our bracket at the top, I'm just going to loosely install my hardware. I'm going to be using the longer bolts, and I'm just going to put a flat washer on because I'm going to be taking them back out. What I'm doing here is I'm going to take my shorter one of the hex bolts. You want to make sure when you put this bracket on, you put the leg in first, or else you won't be able to get it in. I'm going to take the shorter one, I'm going to put it in the bracket, and then we're going to do the same process down here at the bottom that we did at the top. So as you can see, this bed mount bolt is interfering with the foot. So what I'm going to do is we're only going to use one bolt. So I'm just going to cut it off right about here. That way it sits flat on the floor. Next, what I'm going to do is, now that I have my hole drilled, I have my foot cut, and I also spray painted it to cover up any of the bare metal to help with corrosion. I'm going to go ahead and put this in place. So now I'm going to take my longer hex bolt, the included lock washer, followed by a flat washer. Now we're going to put that combination on all of our mounting points. We're going to be using the same combination on our set screw, which is going to be the hex bolt. It's just going to be a short one, lock washer, and flat washer. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten these down. I'm going to be using a 9/16 socket. So we're going to be basically doing the same thing here. We're going to mark our holes, drill them out, same hardware. However, if you look, we have holes where this is going to mount. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to stay toward the top of this bracket, or this leg here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to center that hole on my bracket. We're going to have two on the back side here. Then we're just going to repeat our process that we did on the front of the bed. We can put in our uprights. And what you want to do is, if you have a rubber mallet, tap on it. When you get to the back one back here, if it seems high, that means it's sticking in there. If you just tap on the top here, it'll go all the way down to the bottom. Once you hit the bottom, you're going to be level. Next, we're going to take our adjustable arms. We're going to put them into place. We're going to have a set screw that's going to go in the back side here. Next, we can install our ladder stop. We're going to take our bracket, and you want to face this angle that way, towards the back of the truck. We'll slide it on like that. We'll take our carriage bolt, We're going to slide through the top here until it drops into place. We'll take a washer and our lock nut, and we'll tighten that down. We're going to use a 1/2 inch socket. Next, we're going to install our tie-down straps. So we're going to take our hook side, and you want to make sure that it's facing down. We're going to feed it through our loop. Bring it back through our ring and hook it onto the loops. And that'll do it for the DeeZee side mount customizable truck bed ladder rack with tie downs, part number DeeZee 95053.
Okay guys, now that we've seen the video, what do you guys think of this ladder rack?
I like that you can load stuff from 1/2 still, because it doesn't go all the way across. But I don't really care much for installation, how you have to go through a drilling process. Some people got really expensive trucks. I wouldn't want to be drilling into my own if I spent a lot of money on my truck.
Yeah, if I was using this, I would put it on, you know, like an older truck that maybe I didn't care too much about. Like if it was my brand new truck, though, I'm probably not drilling into it.
Mm-hmm.
I'd go custom at that point.
I mean, it seemed like it was it seemed like it would be hard work for somebody that's not used to doing it. But again, if they're installing a ladder rack, maybe they're familiar with, you know, how tools work. So
yeah, definitely on the plus nuts or riv nuts or whatever you want to call them. That's definitely a learning process.
Yeah.
And the fact that he used the anti-seize is the way to do that without having a problem.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't use anti-seize or keep that bolt really well oiled before each riv nut installation, it'll definitely gall up and you'll be looking for parts.
Yeah.
The set screw kind of bothered me too, to keep, you know, the arm in position.
The adjustable arm?
Yeah, because it seems like, okay, well, what's it going to take to, you know, how much force is going to apply to push it completely out even with that set screw?
I think the set screws there just to keep it from rattling. You've got your two square, for lack of a better term, receivers that the bar goes down into, and it just keeps it from moving around while you're traveling. It's going to stay in there. The weight of the rack itself, plus if it's got a ladder on it, that weight too is going to hold it down into the bed of the truck. It just keeps it from being noisy, I believe. So how does this compare to other ladder racks?
There's a few other half ladder racks out there, and I mean, really, this is on par with them, I would say.
They're all about the same installation.
Yeah, I mean, some are universal, so you don't have to drill. The nice thing is, some are universal and you can decide to permanently mount if you choose to, which is kind of nice. So later, if you feel that the universal fit is not as snug or as you want it, then you can do the drilling then.
So yeah, I think if you were going to choose a ladder rack, the guy who's only going to haul one ladder all the time, he's not pulling into a garage, because this obviously sticks up above the cab of the truck. And
but you can take off the towers, which is nice. I didn't even think about that until he said, so you don't have to take out the bolts or anything. It's just screws. Yeah.
But yeah, so if you're going to be carrying more stuff, you're probably going to be looking at a full on rack, ladder rack, maybe even with the extension over the cab. Anything else? All right then.
Thanks for watching. Click the link in our description below to shop, learn more, or visit us at etrailer.com, and leave a comment if you have any questions.